Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode of the Leadership Edge podcast. I'm your host, Glenn, and I'm really excited to dive into a topic that's, well, pretty near and dear to my heart: self awareness as a foundational element of effective leadership. It's something I've personally struggled with and grown through over my career, and I want to share some insights, stories, and strategies with you all today. So, why is self awareness so important in leadership? I mean, we hear about it all the time, right? But what does it actually mean? Well, self awareness is really about understanding your own emotions, strengths, weaknesses, biases, and values. It's about knowing what makes you tick and how you show up to the people around you. And here's the thing: this isn't just some touchy feely idea, it has a real impact on your effectiveness as a leader. Let me start with a personal story. Early in my career, I thought I was doing a great job at leading my team. I'd give clear instructions, set goals, and check in regularly. But what I didn't realize was that my team felt like I wasn't really listening to them. I was so focused on my own perspective that I completely missed theirs. It wasn't until I got some tough feedback that I realized my lack of self awareness was getting in the way of building trust and open communication. That was a big wake up call for me. So, how does self awareness directly influence a leader's decision making? Well, when you're aware of your emotional triggers and biases, you can approach situations with more objectivity. I've seen this play out in my own life and in the stories of some incredible leaders. Take Howard Schultz, the former CEO of Starbucks, for example. He's spoken about how his passion for the brand sometimes caused him to overlook other perspectives. But once he became aware of that, he started to listen more intentionally to his team, which led to more informed and balanced strategies too. And, it's not just anecdotes backing this up. There's solid research out there showing that self aware leaders are better at conflict resolution and fostering a collaborative environment. They make more conscious decisions because they're considering both their own tendencies and the diverse perspectives of others. It's like the more you know yourself, the more holistic your decision making becomes. Now, I'm not saying self awareness is easy. I mean, let's be real, it requires a lot of vulnerability and a willingness to admit that we're not always right. But that's where growth happens. One of the most effective ways I've found to develop self awareness is through mindfulness. Taking a few minutes each day to just sit, breathe, and observe my thoughts has been a game changer. It's helped me catch myself when I'm about to react emotionally, so I can choose to respond thoughtfully instead. Another strategy that's been invaluable to me is seeking feedback. Now, this isn't always easy, especially if you're like me and have a bit of a perfectionist streak, but I've learned that actively seeking feedback from peers, mentors, and even my team has given me a more accurate self perception. It's like holding up a mirror that reflects not just what I think I see, but how others actually experience my leadership. Tools like 360-degree assessments can be particularly helpful here, providing a holistic view of your behavior and decision making. 5. I remember a time when I thought I was pretty good at conflict resolution. I mean, I'd been doing it for years. But then, during a feedback session, someone pointed out that I had this tendency to dominate discussions, unintentionally, of course, but still. That was tough to hear, but it made me step back and really reflect on how I was showing up in those moments. And it's through that reflection that I was able to make real changes. Now, I try to approach conflicts with more listening and less talking, and it's made a noticeable difference in how my team collaborates. Speaking of reflection, I can't stress enough how valuable it is to take time for self-reflection. After a challenging interaction or a big decision, I like to ask myself some simple questions. How did I feel during that conversation? What triggered those feelings? Did my emotions affect how I responded? Doing this consistently has helped me recognize my own patterns and adjust my approach in future situations. And of course, there are other tools you can use. Personality assessments like the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator MBTI or the Enneagram can provide some great insights into your natural tendencies, your strengths, and your potential blind spots too. They're not the be-all and end-all, but they do offer a valuable starting point for self-exploration. So let's wrap up by summarizing why self-awareness is such a critical element of leadership. It's not just about being introspective. It's about understanding how your behavior impacts others, how your emotions influence your decisions, and how your biases shape your perspective. When you commit to developing self-awareness, you're essentially committing to becoming a more effective, authentic, and empathetic leader. But here's the catch: self-awareness isn't a destination, it's an ongoing journey. The most effective leaders I know and strive to be like are constantly learning, reflecting, and adapting. So, if there's one challenge I want to leave you with today, it's this: take one small step this week toward increasing your self awareness. Maybe it's practicing mindfulness for a few minutes a day. Maybe it's seeking feedback from someone you trust. Or maybe it's just taking a moment to reflect after a tough day. It all starts with that first step. All right, that's it for today's episode. I hope you found some valuable insights here. Remember, self-awareness isn't about beating yourself up. It's about understanding yourself so you can lead with intention and purpose. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep growing and keep leading.